I live in Lexington, Kentucky, near an abandoned water park called Aqua Dreams. It closed in 2009, and though the slides and attractions were dismantled, many buildings still stand. My friend Alex and I decided to explore it one evening, as we had fond memories of visiting the park as kids. We parked at a nearby grocery store lot and snuck into the park around 7:30 p.m. as the sun was setting. The place was eerie and silent, with only the sound of crickets. We brought flashlights for when it got darker. As we wandered, we saw a lot of remnants from the past, and signs of other explorers in the form of graffiti and broken windows. We decided to enter a building that used to be the snack shack called Ocean Bites. Inside, it was dark and creepy, with dust-covered counters and random debris scattered around. I told Alex I was checking out the bathroom and went in. There were 3 stalls, all closed. Suddenly, I heard a small object drop in one of them. I called out, "Hello?" and aimed my flashlight under the stalls. I saw 3 pairs of shoes and legs. One of them started to move, as if someone was getting down to look under the door. My heart raced as I bolted out of there, yelling for Alex. We climbed back out through the window and ran back to the car, freaked out. I told Alex about the 3 people in the stalls. He joked at first, saying they were just taking a break, but quickly realized I was serious when he saw the look on my face. We clearly weren't alone, and if they were just friendly explorers, they would have said something. As we drove away, we couldn't shake the eerie feeling. We talked about how it felt like the ghosts of our childhood were still lingering in the shadows of that abandoned park. We haven't gone back since. It was a scary and weird experience that turned our fun adventure into something much more unsettling. We both agreed it was best to let Aqua Dreams remain a memory, undisturbed and left to the past. I'm a 30-year-old woman living alone in a mid to lower income area. There's some crime in my town, but it's not a dangerous neighborhood. I like knowing my neighbors because it makes me feel a little safer living alone. Other than my nice next-door neighbors, I don't know many people around. The houses across the street are a different story. Being a bit of a scaredy cat, my biggest fears of living alone came true one night. It was a work night, past 11 p.m., and I was in bed trying to fall asleep when I heard leaves crunching on the side of the house. Whether it was a human or an animal, I couldn't tell. The following night, I was awoken by a tapping noise outside my window. It was October, so I still had the windows open. Acting on pure instinct, I called out, "Who's there?" I got up and lifted my blind, but no one was outside. 2 nights in a row, I thought I was getting paranoid. I tried to fall back asleep, but that same night, I woke up again to some scratching or scraping sound from the backyard. The clicking sound grew louder. It was right outside the sliding door. I turned on the light, and the sound stopped. I pulled open the curtain, but no one was there. I flicked on the backyard light and slid open the door. Relieved to see no one, I listened to the crickets for a minute. Then I heard something rustling in the bushes. They were too thick to see anything, but it was definitely a good place for someone to hide. I went back inside, locked everything, and returned to my room, even locking my bedroom door. After about 10 minutes of lying in bed, there was a knock at my front door. This really freaked me out. I ignored it and stayed in bed. No one should be knocking this late at night. It didn't happen again, and I somehow fell asleep. The next day, I went to Best Buy with my brother, who helped me pick out a doorbell camera and a security camera set. He helped me install both, the doorbell camera in the front and the other cameras in the back, both in hidden spots. My brother also spent the night to make me feel better, sleeping in the guest bedroom. We were both in our own beds trying to sleep when I got an alert on my phone. Motion detected on my property. I opened the app and screamed when I saw a figure in the black and white video trying to pick the lock of my back door. I woke up my brother and showed him the video. He bolted out of bed, ran into the backyard without shoes or socks, ready to confront someone. My scream must have scared the intruder away, which we saw when we replayed the video. My brother yelled into the yard, warning them to never come back. The person wore a hood and dark clothing, making it impossible to see their face. They also wore gloves, leaving no fingerprints. We called the police, even though we knew there wasn't much they could do. It just felt necessary to have them aware and keep a lookout. After that night, nothing similar happened again. It really scares me because it's possible the person knew I was a young single woman living alone. It makes me wonder if it was someone from my street, one of my neighbors. I guess I'll never know. I'm a 27-year-old woman living alone in a modest, mid-income neighborhood. While the area isn't dangerous, it has its share of crime, and I sometimes feel uneasy. I know a few of my neighbors, but not well. The folks next door are nice, but the house across the street has some sketchy individuals. One night, around 11 p.m., I was in bed trying to sleep when I heard footsteps outside my window. It could have been an animal, but it sounded heavy enough to be a person. I brushed it off, thinking I was just paranoid. The following night, I was jolted awake by a tapping sound at my window. It was October, and my windows were slightly open for air. Nervously, I called out, "Who's there?" but received no answer. I peeked outside and saw nothing. By the third night, I was convinced it was just house noises. But then, I heard scratching from the backyard. I got up, went to the living room by the back door, and heard clicking noises right outside. Turning on the light, the sound stopped. I mustered the courage to pull back the curtain, but no one was there. Feeling uneasy, I stepped outside and turned on the backyard light. There was nothing, not even an animal. I heard rustling in the bushes, but they were too thick to see through. I quickly locked up and went back to bed, locking my bedroom door as well. Later that night, I heard a knock at the front door. It was almost midnight, and I was terrified. I ignored it, staying in bed. If it happened again, I'd call 911, but it didn't. Somehow, I fell asleep. The next day, I bought a doorbell camera and security system with my brother's help. We installed the doorbell camera in front and another camera in the back. My brother stayed over that night for my peace of mind. We were trying to sleep when I got a motion alert on my phone. I checked the camera feed and saw a hooded figure trying to pick the lock on the back door. I woke my brother, who ran outside, but the intruder fled. The police were called, but there wasn't much they could do since the intruder's face was hidden and he left no fingerprints. After that night, nothing similar happened again. The experience was terrifying, and I couldn't shake the feeling that the intruder knew I lived alone. It made me wary of my neighbors and taught me the importance of always being vigilant and locking my doors. Give me horror prompt to generate images,